Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cloud Wars Minute. You know the promise here. You give us 3 minutes, we'll give you some unique insights into the greatest growth market the world has ever known. Talk about growth markets. Wow, Microsoft's M&A, I think size matters. We're really going to see this in the recent acquisition of Nuance for $19.7 billion. We could call it $20 billion, let's just say to round up. Nuance is a specialist in conversational AI and ambient intelligence used in hospitals, doctors' office, clinics, and all that. An enormously important growing market. And Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella was extremely excited. You could tell about being able to extend what had been a partnership into now an acquisition that will bring the capabilities of Nuance into Microsoft and its healthcare cloud, generally pumping up, what Microsoft is doing in its industry cloud business across the board, but specifically in the healthcare field. Now, this whole thing about size matters and what's going on here, let's take a look at who this company is that Microsoft just bought. Maybe everybody knows a lot about Nuance. I don't know much about them at all until I saw this. Couple things here. In the last 2 quarters, their total revenue for the company that Microsoft just acquired for $20 billion is about $700 million for the last 2 quarters. So they're averaging around $350 million per quarter for the last 2 quarters. And they're not growing that revenue at much of a rate at all. Of that total, $700 million for the last 2 quarters, both quarters, the cloud portion has grown about 28%. They didn't release a figure for their cloud revenue, but they said it's up about 28%. Very nice growth rate. All I can say is the great expectations for AI really stand out here. $20 billion to buy what would be about $1.4 billion in annual revenue. So clearly Microsoft's looking at this as something more than just a big growth gain. They've got to be incredibly impressed by Nuance's technological capabilities. And Nadella said in the press release that, AI has moved to the forefront of, the most important technologies, healthcare being the most important vertical in the world. So clearly Microsoft is willing to spend vast sums of money here to acquire expertise in some of these markets. And I think we'd be crazy not to think that this is going to lead to, in some sense, an arms race here as the big players in the cloud move forward to try to snap up some of these highly specialized, highly capable companies, even ones like Nuance that are a lot more right now about potential than they are about actual, huge volumes of growth and revenue to be brought into these companies. But where Microsoft leads, I think a lot of other companies are going to follow. So I think this is a remarkable story here about Nuance. It's indicative of how quickly this market's going to grow for industry-specific clouds and solutions, and it will continue to be one of the hottest markets in the cloud this year or perhaps ever. Thanks very much for being with us here at Cloud Wars Minute, the news and commentary show. Hope you have a great day.